All right.
We're starting?
Yes.
All right. All right. So the Naples volcano warning and evacuation system. So what is the Naples? The Naples is a major Italian city that is located 15 miles from what used to be Pompeii. Pompeii was a civilization that was tragically wiped out by Mount Vesuvius. This happened because there was no warning systems and no awareness of how to handle such a dramatic and disastrous event. So the eruption ended in tragedy. In Pompeii, the volcano erupted so fast that nobody had time to get out, and it's there's still like fossilized like remnants of it, and it's truly insane. The Naples is a metropolitan area that has a population of about 2,958,410 inhabitants. The climate consists of dry, hot summers, wet winters, and mildly hot springs. The city is also known for manufacturing, agriculture, and pork trade.
Okay, so what are the hazards of this area? The main one is volcanoes. There are two volcanoes on either side of Naples. Mount Vesuvius is 7 miles to the east of Naples. It is a stratovolcano, and its major hazards are pyroclastic flow, which is debris and rocks and ashes that get released by the volcano, and ashfall. The last eruption from Mount Vesuvius was in 1944, and it had a VEI of 3. 1944 isn't that long ago. And the most powerful eruption from this volcano has been a VEI of 5, which has occurred a few times in the past. The other volcano is Campi Felgri, or otherwise known as the Felgrian Fields. This is 9 miles west of Naples. It is a 8 mile wide caldera. So it used to be a taller volcano, but then it collapsed in on itself. The hazards of this volcano include pyroclastic flow, ashfall, and further collapse of the caldera if eruption was large enough, which is unlikely. The last eruption from this volcano was in 1538 with a VEI of 3. Um, that was a bit longer back, but it still has potential to erupt. The most powerful eruption from this volcano was 39,000 years ago with a VEI of 7. An eruption this large is unlikely to happen today. So, from these two volcanoes, the most likely scenario is a eruption of a VEI of one to 3. At this level, the major hazards would include ashfall that would disrupt local air traffic and local air quality, and structures closest to the volcanoes would be at risk from pyroclastic flow, so they may get destroyed by the falling debris and falling rocks. A major eruption of VEI of 4 plus, which is much less likely, but could still occur, would result in air disruption and air quality issues in the entire region and even on the continental level if the eruption was large enough. And structures across the city would be at risk from the pyroclastic flow, and ashfall would likely cover the entire city.
So our warning system and evacuation plan kind of builds on an already built evacuation plan, at least for Mount Vesuvius, but we're kind of shifting it across to focus on the city of Naples. So the evacuation plan would be in two zones. We have the red zone, which is immediate evacuation, and that'd be the highest danger, mainly at risk for any pyroclastic flows, but also like that heavy ash that we talked about in the previous slide. And then yellow would be our less at risk, but they would still need evacuation if the ash levels got to certain amounts in the air just due to health risks, as well as any immediate damage that could come from any ash falling or pyroclastic flow that would block certain areas. The city already has evacuation points, so the zones would be easy to expand upon. With that zoning because we already have systems in place that would lead to evacuation, like buses and stuff like that. But we're hoping to add a warning system. So the Pew system is a system that uses infrasound sensors to detect volcanic activity, and can alert Italian Civil Protection Department and the city itself about an hour before an eruption. It's been implemented successfully in Sicily, and it's critical in order to give cities like Naples and the surrounding areas a head start in the event of an eruption. In Sicily, it was highly successful in saving hundreds, if not thousands, of survivors just in general, especially with the air quality and how much damage that can do, especially to young children. The warning system would be implemented by sending out an alarm in the red zone first to alert anyone to basically like evacuate immediately. And then we would set up an air quality alarm system in the yellow zones to let people know that they needed to evacuate that area once the air quality reached a certain level of particles in the air that then they wouldn't be able to breathe properly.
All right, so this is where we're going to talk about the community and the actual cost of this early warning system. So the evacuation plan and the implementation of an early warning system will positively affect the communities in case of emergency, preventing injury and saving lives. As mentioned in the last slide, similar plans were done in Sicily and they had a positive impact on the community. And like the most or like the largest impact that it helped with was decreasing the amount of citizens experiencing cardiovascular and respiratory issues, which can complicate things down the road. Um, and the question is this achievable? Yes, it's achievable due to the building on top of the previous infrastructure. It'll cut costs down when it comes to trying to implement the new plan. Italy also has programs and nationally run programs that will help to install the warning systems if budgeted for correctly. So they just have to be careful and mindful of that. Um, there's another warning system for the volcanoes, the National Volcano Early Warning System, which includes ashfall and pyroclastic flow monitoring. It's funded by a combination of previous and current appropriations rather than like a single fixed amount. So this is kind of like going to be estimating the cost in like a general sense. The early warning system cost is based on how long they're used for, and most of them are used for like a 5-year plan. So overall, it would cost roughly like $55 million if implemented in the US over the fiscal years like 2019 and 2023. So that was statistics from those years. And then additionally, the NOAA is currently creating cost estimates for its role, and the USGS received additional funding in FY 2019 for upgrades and repairs. So this is kind of just showing like what it would be in like the American sense, so we can kind of create a comparison between the two, countries. And then, so here is an option that's like not very budget friendly, but it is an option where Caris will talk about option two, which would kind of implement more of our idea for Naples. But if the Pew system were to be implemented, an estimated budget could look for as follows for like high output. So that's 10 million euros to 50 million euros or more in capital. And it includes full redundancy, several high-end sensors, satellite data contracts, around-the-clock staffed regional operations center, complete public alerting, logistical investments, evacuation routes, shelters, long-term R&D, and outreach. So all of these are like top of the line, and that's why it's so expensive. But yeah, so the annual operations for that would range from around 1 million euros to 10 million euros.
Awesome. And then option two is what we're more looking at, which is low or a rapid augment. And it's capital of 0.5 million euros to 2 million euros. Additional low to moderate quality sensors, which is like seismic and a few infrasound, SO2, GNSS, 2 to 4 camera nodes, integration into INGV and Protozion civil feeds, a public SMS app, alerting pilot, and an initial training area are all included. This is helpful if one is adding to an already existing national observatory network and your main goals are better ash detection and quicker local alerts. In this case, to regards the Naples, this is the best option to go with. And then the annual operations range from 50,000 euros to 200,000 euros. Yeah, and that was about it.